my mind with thoughts so unkind. I stalled out a long time ago. Life's in rewind. Ooh, gypsy woman, please. Music was constantly around, you know, from my grandparents listening to all different types of, from old country to old Mexican standards, Tejano, to my aunt's listening to classical, my younger aunt listening to rock and roll, Def Leppard, and all this stuff. So I constantly had a good, I guess, a good start, with, you know, with all the different styles of music, and then just kind of went from there. When my parents would take me to go see Little Joey La Familia, and at the time they were like a 11-piece band, or at least they always had a horn section, the guitars, the bass, the drums, at least a couple of singers. So the drummer Ricky would always, you know, I'm this kid, this little snot-nosed kid running around, 3, 4, 5 years old, and just my parents would tell me stories of how they would be dancing, and I would just sit there and just kind of on the stage, and while the other kids were running around between their folks dancing on the dance floor, I'm sitting there just kind of taking it all in. And they said that the funny part was when the band would take a break, that I would get off as well, go to the table and just kind of like watch what they were doing, who they were mingling with, and then when they would go back up, all right, I gotta go. So I guess I was pretending then that I was already in the band. But the drummer was really cool. He would always give me his old drumsticks that he played with that night. And so that's how I got started, is I would go to the house and beat on chairs and try to play drums, you know, so. Oh, there's so many. You know, of course, you got Hendrix and Stevie Ray and Carlos Santana, and I got to play with Mark May for 6 years. He's a big influence of mine. You'll hear his licks in there as well, which I send the checks to you, by the way, man. Also, there's a cat out in the scene right now, Eric Gales. Mark turned me on to him. They had a CD called The Gales Brothers, Left Hand Burn, and I've been hooked ever since. That guy's just a monster. So it's all a learning process. I'm still learning. I mean, like these songs on this CD, for instance, they were just culmination, if you will, of songs that I've had over the years. Like I could have a chorus with no verse, or vice versa, a verse with no chorus, or great chord progression or whatever that just worked, but with no vocals, or vocals and no music. So with this CD, what we did was we really needed to put something out, and being that when we started recording it in June of last year, I guess the band was a year and a half old. So I definitely wanted to get something out before our 2-year mark, and at least just get something out there and capture where we were then. So these songs were just kind of really not pieced together or put together, so to speak, but like I said, Sex with a Dragon was written, you know, while we were recording. So I think with the songwriting now, the way things are going to go in the future, is a lot of it is really focusing on the song so much, not so much just the solo or whatever, and you know, having the different instruments around it to give you that feeling and so forth. And it could just start with a riff, like Gypsy Woman started with the dun-dun-dun. It just started with that, and I was fooling around with it one night, and I was like, that's kind of cool. It'd be cool if I could sing over it. And then it took me a long time to be able to sing and play that at the same time. Sometimes it just starts with, I'll just get a pad and pen, I just start writing. And I'm not trying to filter it down or put it in a song, you know, arrange it as a song. I'm just writing, and whatever comes out, or you know, playing. So it just depends, you know, on whatever the mood strikes you, you know. I think Houston has a very rich musical history, culture. I think there's a lot of good acts right now that are doing it. You've got, you know, the Mighty Orc, Tony Vega. You got Sonny Boy Terry, the Brad Absher band, who just got back from the IBCs, you know, made it to the semifinals. So there's a ton of talent and music in Houston, which is exciting, because, you know, if you can get into that and maybe try to break out, then that's pretty cool, you know. And you can keep a band together, and you can try to get a good band. And I mean, like for instance, you know, I can play what I know and try to do it the best I can. Now, someone else calls me to do one of their gigs, and it's totally a different style or whatever. Then I'm going to sit down and do the homework. Am I gonna be their guy? No, probably not. I'm filling in. I'm gonna do the best I can, and that's it. Same thing with people coming in this band. A drummer comes through or a bass player comes through, and it's like they're good. They get the gig, but there's just something not there. And for that, that's what I'm really striving for with this band is getting that, finding those group of musicians, those people that not only have the same love and the same drive that you do, but they also get the road. They know that, because there's a lot of people out there too that, you know, okay, we got it, now we're ready, now what? What's going to happen? And I mean, them knowing the road, it helps out a lot, because they know that it takes patience. You know, anything worthwhile, it's going to take a lot of work. So that's tough, you know, finding people to stick with you and keep the eye on the prize, because you got good musicians playing. Other people are going to see them if they got something going on. Hey man, you want to come play with us for blah blah blah? Do a European? Yeah, you know, you can't blame someone for that. That's the whole reason they're doing it for. So just keep my fingers crossed on that one, so to speak. It don't lie. It's a feeling. You know, I've had a lot of people. Wow, it's the most basic form. You know, I've been in different debates or arguments or whatever with people. Wow, it's just such a basic form of, yeah, okay, 3 chords, 5 notes, but it's what you do with those 3 chords and 5 notes. It's how you talk with it, and that's the blues. And not everyone. I mean, I'm not saying I can do it. I mean, I reach all the time to, you know, when I'm playing, but you know, to get to that level where you can just talk to somebody, and you know, is what we were talking about before. When you hear someone, whether it's their whatever instrument it may be, their guitar, their keyboard, their vocals or whatever, when you hear it, you believe it. To me, that's the blues. It's a feeling. You just can't. It don't lie. I remember the first time I heard Leadbelly, I was scared. It was so haunting. It was the song, my girl, tell me where did you go? Tell me where did you sleep last night? And he's basically talking about, like, he's catching his old lady and what he did to the man. That it was just, I remember hearing it. We were playing a gig in Vidalia, Louisiana, and we were setting up in this little like restaurant / bar right on the river, and they're playing this, and I'm just like, wow, it got, because you know, you heard of Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, but when I heard that, it's like got me digging in deeper to the Blind Lemon Jefferson and to the Sun House and to the other things like that. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, it's all good stuff to draw from, you know, and put it in wherever I can fit it in. You know, I don't purposely go out and, okay, I'm going to make this song sound like this, or I'm going to sing this way to sound like this person. If it comes out, like you mentioned Paul Rogers earlier, and I've never even, that was a first. Like I said, I can retire now after. That's an awesome compliment. But you never set out to sound like anybody or anything, but just what you can do. And if that comes across, it's because that's something that's already, you know, down home inside of you. It's already giving you goosebumps and stuff. It's in. You got it. Yeah, I remember going down to Stewart Beach and Jamaica Beach and all that, and having a day with the family and getting bit by a jellyfish here and there or whatever, you know. But yeah, I would go down. I love the island, man. It's a whole another vibe down there. I mean, I used to live by the water not too long ago, and I lived in Seabrook, and it's just a whole another way of living. It's just laid back. I like it down there. So any chance I get to go down there and play and make music, that's fun. Here's a track called Gypsy Woman off of our debut release, Sex with a Dragon. Hope you like it. Alone in my mind, with thoughts so unkind, I stalled out a long time ago. Life's in rewind. Who'd gypsy woman, please let me be. You've taken everything away, but you've left so much behind. I can't tell my nights from my days, treat me so unkind. Ooh, gypsy woman, please let me be. Ooh, Lord, gypsy woman, come and see me. Lord, set me free. Taken everything away, but you've left so much behind. I can't tell my nights from my days, treat me so unkind. Ooh, gypsy woman, please let me be. And ooh, Lord, gypsy woman, Lord, set me free.